For the first week or two, I'm gonna try and keep up a daily vlog, uploading every night over my phone's hotspot. We'll see how that goes. Anyhow, the first stop we made on this segment of the RV trip is the historic Wheel Inn, a diner in Cabazon near Palm Springs, well, near-ish. Very well known for its dinosaur statues. The dinosaur statues that were built in the 60s through 80s. They took rather long time to complete due to the fact that they're mostly constructed of spare materials from the construction of Interstate 10, which is right over there. We used to always stop and eat here on our trips to Arizona throughout the years, but it sadly closed last year. Didn't make enough money to keep up the building. So it's for sale now if you've got the money. Interesting fact about this place is that the diner portion of Wheel Inn, the original portion, was actually built the same year my mother was born, 1958. After editing all the footage from yesterday, I've determined that instead of doing a daily vlog, it would be better to do a semi-daily vlog, wherein I upload a video every non-driving day, because driving days, like yesterday, rarely yield more than a minute or so of footage. Now we're at Joshua Tree National Park, taking a hike around the Hidden Valley Trail, which is one of their most popular trails, they said. Called the Hidden Valley Trail because it follows the rim of a box canyon that in the late 1800s rustlers would use to hide herds of cattle that they had stolen. As to the titular trees, which technically aren't trees at all, but rather members of the yucca family, supposedly they were named by Mormon pioneers because they reminded them of the uplifted arms of Joshua. Personally, I find this claim dubious because if that was their inspiration, why did they not call them Moses trees? Very crowded here today because it's quite nice weather. Warm but not too hot, with a cool breeze. Also, these rocky areas are quite popular with climbers, rappellers, those sorts of people. This is Key's View, and aside from all this, you can really see that the park sits on the border of two different deserts, the Mojave to the north and the Colorado to the south, roughly demarcated by the cessation of the Joshua trees as the land drops to lower elevations. And here's the view that Keys saw. Some of you may be wondering what you're looking at, so I shall let this random girl walking behind us explain.
This is Coachella Valley.
Home to Mount San Jacinto, Interstate 10, and several towns such as Palm Springs, Indio, and La Quinta, not to be confused with the similarly named hotel chain.
This is the San Andreas Fault.
Marked by that dark ridge of the low-lying Indio Hills in roughly the middle of the frame. On clearer days, one can see the Salton Sea right in the saddle of those two peaks, but it was a bit too hazy on this occasion. Besides the lovely views, we were able to observe some of the wildlife in the area, including several chuckawallas. These are the largest lizards in the park and are relatively harmless. When threatened, they like to scurry into tight crevasses in rocks and inflate their lungs, making them nearly impossible to pull out. Speaking of pulling things out of cracks, we also saw a ladder-backed woodpecker attacking a flower bunch. Though they are best known for, of course, pecking wood and eating the insects that live underneath, they also sometimes eat the seeds, berries, and fruit of various trees and/or cacti. At the overlook, there was a herd of the elusive bighorn sheep. Can you see them? The horns of the males can weigh up to 30 pounds, i.e. as much as the rest of their skeleton put together. And if you look on the left, you may even catch a glimpse of them using their horns for battle. There was also this yucca with a lizard in it. Not sure what kind of lizard, but it was pretty big. Then there was this. So, yeah. In the end, we wound up right back where we started because Walmarts in this part of the country are few and far between. Tomorrow, we're gonna head north farther into the Mojave Desert to the aptly named Mojave Desert National Park. That is what it's called, right? Correction, Mojave Desert National Preserve. But back to Joshua Tree, it was kind of surprising how crowded it was. It seems like it's in the middle of nowhere, yet really it's not that far from Los Angeles or San Diego or several other urban centers, as evidenced by all the smog you can see from that overlook. The wind channels right through that pass. Parks like Joshua Tree are usually a mixed experience for me because on the one hand, I enjoy the nature immensely, but on the other hand, I prefer to enjoy nature in quiet, meditative solitude, not with huge crowds of people like there was here and in places like the Grand Canyon. But we'll see if Mojave is any different. V out.